Their title translates as Against Time, but in a greater sense, CONTRA-TIEMPO encompasses the work they do in the right here in the moment world with urban Latin flair. And we're lucky enough to have the lady that created it all from CONTRA-TIEMPO. It's Ana Maria Alvarez. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So how did CONTRA-TIEMPO get started?
So we actually began as my thesis work at UCLA. I was getting my master's degree in choreography, and I started working on this project around salsa as a way to empower communities and to represent voices that weren't traditionally heard. The idea that salsa is this dance where you need pushback and you need engagement and you need resistance, and sometimes in our culture that's seen as a negative, and actually in dance it's necessary or you don't exist in the partnership. So I took that whole metaphor, created this piece of work, and we began touring, and I realized after the first year of touring and starting to actually notice the interest and excitement about the work that it would make a lot of sense for me to file for 501c3 and start a nonprofit, and we started, you know, pretty much functioning as a dance company. It was in 2007 was when we finally became officially a company. So
that is wonderful.
Yeah.
Was dance always your main focus when you were little, and how did that happen?
Yeah, I was actually a musician and a dancer. So when I went to college, I decided kind of to which path to choose. But it's kind of, you know, and it's interesting because I use actually a lot of music, and a lot of music inspires how I move and why I move and what I decide to move about. So music and dance has always been really important, and it's definitely, the dance won out more than the music did when I had to make a decision of what I was majoring in. And really, I mean, I've been dancing for as long as I can remember, and I honestly can't imagine my life without it. I mean,
did you ever imagine your thesis work would bring you to where you've exploded today in your company? I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable, and at the same time, it's what I always knew was possible. But I just, you know, that the fact that we really are getting to do this every day, all the time, is pretty astounding, and it really is. I mean, it's come with a lot of hard work and a lot of incredible people really believing in the work and supporting the work, and we would not be here today without the community that's really supported us to grow and flourish and continue to create.
So you were mentioning music and dance, and I understand you have a composer that is part of your company. How does that work? Do you say to the composer, I'm doing a dance like this and this is the music I want? Or does the composer come and say, I have this great piece of music, I want you to create a dance? How does it work?
Yeah, so it's actually very funny. My brother is the composer. He's the co-founder of the company, but also our resident composer. And we've worked together, obviously, a long time, but started collaborating when the company got created, and have created an enormous amount of projects together. But always we start the creative process with the idea that comes from the dance, and then he brings in a huge wealth of knowledge of poetry and found sound and soundscaping, and kind of figuring out how to tell stories and engage ideas through music and the way that I'm doing it through dance. And sometimes we start with a little bit of dance, and he then creates music to go with that, and sometimes he gives me a piece of music and I create dance to it.
And he's in New York?
He's actually in New York.
How do you do that then?
So yeah, I know. So he's based in New York,
Skype?
And all of our musicians, except for one, is based in New York as well. So when we tour, we come bi-coastal, you know, from the bi-coastal way. He actually has, he's starting to work on a lot of other projects right now. So we're going to create the first piece this year, separate from one another. But I know we'll come back together, and we do, you know, a lot of email, a lot of Skype, a lot of traveling, frequent flyer miles, yeah.
So with traveling, I know you guys tour. So do you have plans of expanding beyond the U.S. at all?
So we actually have toured internationally, but we have a huge tour coming up that's really exciting. The U.S. State Department, Obama administration, and Dance Motion, which is a program curated by BAM, Brooklyn Academy of Music, they are presenting us and invited us to be a part of this program as dance ambassadors for 2014. Wow. So we are going to be touring to Bolivia, Chile, and Ecuador, representing the United States, Los Angeles, Santa Monica.
Do you need a male dancer?
I know.
Sign me up.
I can't tell you how many people are like, can we go into your luggage? Could you need somebody to, you know, carry your luggage?
I know you also work with the kids at PAL, the Police Activities League, and I imagine that well, I know that dance must have a tremendous influence on their lives. So if you could tell us a little bit about that, and also maybe if you know, will any of them, do you think, become professional dancers or maybe even join your troupe?
We would love that. So we actually worked with PAL for the first time this year and have been just really in love with the program there and in love with the kids there. I mean, we've been working with the middle school, high school students. However, all of the elementary school, students are constantly peeking in, and we're going to have a big open class. We're going to invite the entire community, no matter what age, which is going to be really fun. And hopefully the idea is to bring the students to work with us further outside of the program and be able to be engaged in some of our community classes or our summer programs. And I mean, we have students who have started as students and have become dancers in the company. One of our principal dancers was 18 years old when he started working with us, and now is one of our principal dancers.
Wow.
So that's absolutely a possibility.
So how does it work? If a school or an organization wants to work with you guys, what do you bring to them? How does it? What's the process?
So in the past 8 years, we've really built our education programs around the residency model of performing, bringing our performance work to schools and to students, and then either following that with a 10-week or 20-week residency where we come in and deliver dance instruction, but really it's more than dance instruction, it's life instruction. It's using dance as a metaphor for how to responsibly be a part of a community, of how to see yourself within the context of something much bigger than yourselves, how to compassionately relate with your peers and see yourself as an important and valuable contribution to the world, and doing all of this through dance. I mean, we use dance performance, definitely some theater of the oppressed ideas mixed in there, and it's really this idea of performance having the capacity to transform the world, and we believe it, and we've seen it, and we know it's possible. This next year we're going to be deepening some of those relationships and taking on actually less schools, but in a more intense way to build artistic work with the communities that we're working with. So it's an exciting time.
That is very exciting.
Yeah.
And so where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I see, that's so long. We've moved very quickly, very fast, and grown really fast. So I really see us continuing to grow and continuing to deepen the relationships with the communities that we work with. I think in 5 years, I see us hopefully having some kind of performing arts space that we could have our program really based there, but that also other artists who are creating like-minded work can also find a home in our space there. I see definitely, continuing to create community-based, but really high quality artistic work that will be touring and performing locally. And I see being able to salary artists and really value them for their contribution to this work, and that's something that we're working towards. And I'm the child of two parents who are union organizers, so I'm it's important to me to pay people and value them for their time, and that's something that we definitely stand for.
Well, it's been such a pleasure having you. Thank you so much for being with us. Well, we aren't actually finished yet because Evelyn is actually going to put me in the hot seat on my first day.